And welcome back to another devlog for Stairman. It's been probably just over 2 years since I last posted a video. Um, but let's begin. So the name Stairman, that might actually end up changing. That's due to trademark. Um, but I'm still going to keep that for now. Still getting that nailed out. But anyway, on with actual interesting stuff. There's been a complete makeover of the main menu. I've done pretty big overhaul on the character editor. There's now male and female selections working. You can change hairstyles on both characters. You can change the hair color. You can also change skin color. You'll also be able to change the garment color. You'll notice that the big difference between the characters from the last version and this version, they're not wearing clothes, and their face is also different. That was kind of a design choice for the story, and oh yeah, you can see there that the beard color isn't quite done yet. Um, but you can change the beard mesh. But anyway, design change for how to fit the story. Next, I have what's kind of a stretch goal, but it's the world composition tool. What I plan is to have the player be able to edit the the settings inside their world. So the biome, the environment, weather, what types of enemies or life forms spawn inside there, cliff amount, hills, um, just like the frequency of the terrain, water height, vegetation density, how much resources are on the map, how big cities are, how dense they are. Um, that's kind of a stretch goal, but I just got the menu implemented in there just to kind of feel that out. You'll notice that there's a lot more items that have been added. Um, there's a shovel, axe, pick. Those were in before. Not the shovel though. But we have different types of backpacks, different types of hats, armor types. There's a crafting bench. It's actually in a box, but you can pick that up and then build it. You can also things that you pick up. You can also drop them. I was pretty sure that was in the last one of the last videos I had. Um, you can all those items there. You can pick them up and you can use them. And when I when I was getting this footage, I was making sure I picked that up because I knew that I was going to be walking around a bit, and my thirst does go down. And there's a little bit of things that need to be fixing, such as like the hair needs to go away when you put a hat on, because obviously it interferes with the mesh, and the character viewer needs to be changed up a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. The crafting menu has been changed a little bit. Each item has its own kind of like a placeholder icon, really. I've divided them up into color code categories for now. just to make it easier to see what is what. All of these cans of food, you can pick them up and you can eat them. You'll see me doing that later in this video. Yeah, all those, you can pick those up and you can wear them. Each backpack has its different size for storage that it adds. You're not able to stick stuff in a backpack and then put it in your backpack, so you can't have like infinite storage or stackable storage. But there we got those donuts too, and a bag of chips. And each food item has its ability to give you, you can have hunger and thirst given to you, or you can have health given to you. One of the ones that's in there is Silver Sounds, that gives you health and a thirst, I believe. And then the weapon types, each weapon will eventually have its own ammo, but right now I think all the rifles, they collectively share the carbine ammo. Then there's the pistols. Each pistol, yeah, there's the two pistols. They share the standard pistol ammo, and you can see the muzzle flash is facing the wrong way. That has yet to be addressed, and the crosshair, changed that up a little bit. I just made it smaller. Added some new rifles, and yeah, like I said, they all share the same ammo currently, but they do still have the different types of fire selections are still implemented. You can have a single shot, two shot, or fully automatic. I think that'll demonstrate here in just a little bit. Yeah, I dropped one there. That sniper rifle. Here we go. Yeah, picked up the carbine ammo, and I'll put this one at full auto here in just a second. You'll see. And the bullets don't quite affect movement on any objects. That shopping cart right there can actually be pushed around, but if you shoot at it, it won't move around. That's something I plan to change. So there's those blueprints, flashlight, and a hammer right there. I'll be picking those up shortly and showing that there is possibility to build things. Just haven't fully put the mesh in and the ability to actually, well, the ability is there, but the actual placing of the object has not been just gotta drag a wire. That's basically all that needs to happen. Need to put the models in and drag the wire. That's really all that needs to happen. So that's coming up. Yeah, you'll see that here in just a second. The flashlight, that works. And there's that paper map down there that I didn't pick up. The paper map and the blueprints, they share the same icon, but yep, you'll see here. It has a radial menu. I've kind of been going back and forth about changing it from the radial menu to a different type of build menu. But for now, I think I'm just going to keep it at the radial menu. So that shovel also is something that I'm trying to implement correctly. It's super broken right now. It either can be picked up or can't be picked up, or it just doesn't work. and I have these resource types here. Those are debris. So you mine the debris and you get certain types of resources, and then you mine what's this, the rubbish pile, I think? And you get certain types of resources, and then this is a scrap pile, and then you'll get different other types of resource, plastic, glass, and rubber, I think. And as you can see, inventory does fill up pretty quick. So when you're in the game, like once you're actually playing, a player you'll want to build some type of storage to transfer your items over to, and at least finding a backpack of some kind will definitely be important. And here's a tree I'm chopping down, and these trees actually do regrow. The respawn is pretty instantaneous. Well, it snaps back into the world. It doesn't. There's not like a gradual grow back, which I plan to change that. I also plan to change the chopping animation into more of a horizontal swing instead of a vertical swing. It'll just be easier for the player to aim at the tree. And there you can see the flashlight. If the map was dark, you could see how well it actually works. But yeah, there's the vehicles over there. I'll get to those in just a second. Oh, there's the AI. That's the Rebel AI mesh. I haven't modified that mesh yet. There's a enemy AI, basically like the Empire, the bad guys, and then there's zombie AIs. Those are also in. The behavior for the zombies is super weird. They basically just run around like chickens with their heads cut off. It's definitely needs to be fixed. Not too terrible to be fixed, but the Empire guys, they do have combat with the rebels. It's pretty fun, but it can be problematic, and it was not working well with this video. So here you can see I have the crafting table that I'm about to place down. I compress R to rotate it. Currently, it's not rotating correctly. It's not sticking on the grid. There's a build grid that it should be sticking to, but it's not. And then these are just, since this is a dev map, there's just some resources I put out for myself. So I go pick stuff up, and then I'll head back over to the crafting table. I'll try and build something. Pick up some glass, and right now all these resources that are put out here, those are all the ones that I currently have in the game. I might put more in there, because right now it's wood from left to right. It's wood, string, metal, paper. I'll have to when I'm done here. Let's see. I think I ended up building a rifle. A carbine, yeah. I ended up building a carbine, and I think a shovel too. And I was really excited when I built the shovel because I was actually able to use it. And that was something that I discovered while I was doing this. As I hadn't gotten the shovel to work properly, I'll put it that way. Like I said, it was one of those things where it, like, either works or it doesn't. And so let's see here. So from left to right, it was, maybe I'll zoom. Oh yes, and there's another goofy thing here too. The hammer requires crafting bench. That was something that I thought was quite strange, and I think it's because there's this bounding box around the crafting bench, and I think I have to be looking at it or something like that. I'll have to investigate that a little bit more because I have built hammers before. Um, I just I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more. So you can see I was running low on some water, so I have to go drink, eat. And now I'm just running around. And you probably have noticed those little bushes that are around. Those are procedurally generated static meshes. So that's basically just grass that'll generate randomly in the world. Um, Now I'm rolling up on this little town that I put together. Nothing too crazy, but it kind of shows where the inspiration, part of the inspiration that I had actually gotten for my game. Once upon a time, I was actually playing Left 4 Dead, and I was in observer mode, spectate mode. Oh, one of those two. And this is about the perspective that I had, and I was watching players run around shooting zombies and all that stuff, and it was just like, wow, this would be cool to have for a game. And so this it's just kind of cool to see this come to life. Um, but so I guess the way that I kind of envision this is that there'd be two or three, maybe even four players on this street. They'd be having a firefight, or someone up in the building there. So you can see I'm just kind of demonstrating that you can shoot down at the ground, but then you can also shoot up at the kind of more at a elevated height. um, because in a lot of top-down shooters, there's just the one plane that you're able to shoot at. It's usually about eye level that you're able to shoot at, and all these buildings, they are enterable. However, the um, the roof on them doesn't disappear yet. Um, and if you haven't watched my other videos, you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. But in hopefully my next update, I should have that done for a few more videos. The way that I do it now, it works, but um, it's not as efficient as I would like it to be. Um, I just think there's a better way that I could do it, but the way that little shack right up there at the top, yeah, that has it works. It's replicated, so in a multiplayer setting, it works. Um, and I with a multiple level, like 3 level building, it it doesn't fully work the way that I want to. And if I were to have a whole city block like this, not to mention multiple blocks, I'm not sure performance wise how well it would work. So I may need to change that. And I'm looking into changing that. As you can see, I'm just getting out to drink some water. And the rate at which your thirst depletes and your hunger, that's definitely going to change. Even just for the development, that's kind of becoming annoying. So don't worry, it's not going to be that fast in the game because you'd be running out of things constantly if it was. I think even games like DayZ, they I don't know, Daisy, you seem to run out of at least food pretty quick. But anyway, uh, here's just a good example of the terrain that I worked on. Uh, I was getting at the grass, quote unquote grass. It might not be what you think of grass, but in the editor, that's what that's called. It's grass that it's procedurally generated on the terrain. And also just the texture on the terrain. You can see there's actually three different layers. There's that darker layer, then there's like a lighter layer, and then there's that very top, the lightest layer. So it's height based. Height, well, it's more angle based. Based on the angle of the terrain, it'll procedurally put the type of texture and it blends it together nicely. And then also to give it that low poly look, I did some trickery with the normals. And to give it some extra low poly look, I put a nice little texture on there. And then to give it a cracked earth look, I also put some alpha mapping on there. You saw I had the shovel out there. I was kind of excited about that, but I can't really do anything with it. I know that it won't harvest the the debris over there. And yep, you can see that the rifle does do damage to the AI, and the AI has its death animation. One big thing that I've kind of put off as I have it as a stretch goal is computer networking. I have all the parts for it, and they're even added in as items. Um, but I'm not quite sure what the practical application of it would be in game. So I haven't really done anything. Um, there is also the physical storage of items on shelves that I would like to do. Um, that's something that I also need to look into. I just think it'd be really cool to, the little house or base or whatever that you're building, to instead of just sticking everything in boxes, like in Minecraft or something, you just stick everything in storage shelves or in storage crates to potentially be able to put things on storage shelves, even if you're just putting your crates on a shelf. That would look interesting. Just add another little dynamic to the game, I suppose. Um, as you can see, I'm pushing the the cart around. Uh, really, that was. I'm not sure. That's a really super basic thing that I just added in. It was done in like 2 minutes. Just had the skeletal mesh and then clicked the applied physics and dropped it in the world, and there it is. I can push it around. Has very flimsy weight to it. Um, but yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you again in 2 weeks with another nice, juicy update.